Hello. This is going to be an introduction to the challenge of German nationalism, 1789 to 1918. It's one of OCR's key units for their A-level. So, as I said, this is just an introduction. What it's really about, in its whole unit, is establishing the background to the German history we all know. We're all very familiar with the Germany of World War I or the Germany of World War II. It's something we know a lot about. But this is kind of the prequels. If we thought about Germany as a film franchise, this is the prequels, the build-up to it. How did it become that way in the first place? And we want to think then, first of all, about why the starting point. Why do we start in 1789? Well, 1789 is the French Revolution. That's what's happening at the time. And you can see here how the French Revolution massively changed Europe. If you look at Europe just before the French Revolution, in the year of 1789, and you look at Europe today, you can see that the French Revolution, and obviously subsequent wars as well, but very much the French Revolution, starting those things, has changed the map of Europe completely. You can see on the right how Germany has come to be a nation because of the events largely of the French Revolution, stemming from that revolution. You can see Italy is coming to being. But you can also see some nations have disappeared, or should I say some empires have disappeared. So the Austrian Empire, the Habsburg Empire has disappeared. The Ottoman Empire has disappeared. So the French Revolution has had a huge impact. And the really important thing to emphasize here is that the French Revolution isn't just impactful for the things that we know, liberty, equality, fraternity. It's also impactful for nationalism and for spreading the idea of nationalism across Europe. This idea that you shouldn't be loyal to the king or a ruler, but the nation itself. And so even the king then could become disloyal. This is the key idea, or one of the key ideas, of the French Revolution. And really, from the French Revolution onwards, German people get hugely influenced by this idea of nationalism and the idea of creating a German nation state. So that's a bit of the background. What we also need to do is give some background about Germany in 1789 at the start of the French Revolution, as it's just about to happen. Now, in 1789, there's no fixed idea of what Germany should be or where its borders should be. But there's this kind of idea of a Germany, just like the idea of Europe today. Although you have the European Union, you don't really have a European state in the sense that you have a French state or a German state. And so Europe is something of an amorphous concept in the sense that we don't necessarily know where it should completely end or where it should completely begin. Is Turkey European? Should Turkey be part of Europe? Is Russia European? Should Russia be part of the European Union? These are big questions. We don't know for sure. We don't have the answers to those questions yet. And Germany is very much in a similar state back then. There is no single idea as to what Germany should be. They don't know where Germany should end, where it should begin. So now we have a very fixed idea of what Germany is, but that is not the idea that people had at the time. It was not fixed in any way. And so the German nationalists of 1789 were people pushing for the creation of Germany as an independent nation state, in the sense that France and Britain are nation states, to be created. Because there is no Germany at the time. Really important to emphasize, this is an idea of a Germany. There's people who speak German, but there is no Germany in the sense of a nation state, of a political entity. So it's hard to define what Germany is. It's still this somewhat vague concept. And there's two ideas of Germany, two ideas of what Germany should be. There is the Klein Deutschland vision of Germany, and this is the idea of a small Germany. That's what Kleindeutschland means. It's just German for small Germany. And there is the idea of the Großdeutschland, which is the bigger Germany, which is much, much larger, and something which obviously the Nazis would talk about. They would refer to their state as Großdeutschland, this greater Germany. Whereas the Germany of today is perhaps that smaller Germany that was envisioned by some. So I say this is the second most important thing. First important thing is that the French Revolution really creates German nationalism. It leads to the idea of the need for a German state. And then second most important is the creation of Großdeutschland versus Kleindeutschland, and that debate continues until the creation of Germany in 1871. And so you can see that many German nationalists are pushing for this independent state. We've got von Moser, and he says, compared with the British, Swiss, Dutch, and Swedes, the Germans lack a national way of thinking. The Germans are behind, in his opinion. There's those people that have an idea of a German culture which speak German, but they don't have their own independent nation state like the British do, like the French do. And so it's really important to establish this idea. At this point in time, you could say that Germany is something of a nation. A nation just really means a people, but it's not a nation state. It's not a people or a cultural group who possess their own government, who possess their own political territory. And so Britain may very well at this time be something of a nation state, but Germany is not a nation state. Although it is a nation, it is a people who have this particular common characteristics, language and culture, Germans, but they don't have the German state. They don't have the German nation state. And so German nationalists are pushing for the creation of this German nation state. And that's very important to understand. There's a number of things which are preventing Germany from becoming a nation state at this point, even though there are German people and there is a German nation. They don't have this independent political entity yet. And that's because there are barriers in the way. This is our first barrier. The first barrier is the political barrier. There's political divisions in what could be considered Germany. As you can see from the map, Germany is divided into many, many hundreds of different states, all with different leaderships and families ruling over them, and different types of government as well. Some are ruled by religious authorities, some are ruled by kings, princes, dukes. All sorts of different political entities exist there. So that's causing a division. We've got hundreds of different ways of governing the country. The next thing is the German population and the German-speaking population. It is scattered, rather, across parts of Europe. So it's hard to decide who should be in this Germany, which parts of the German-speaking world should be in a German state. So that's another issue that's dividing Germany. The final issue is a very important issue, which is the issue of religion. Germany is divided north and south between Protestants and Catholics. The Protestants are in the north, they are very strong in the north of Germany, and the Catholics are very strong in the south of Germany. Now, obviously today, religion in Europe isn't such a big issue. Religion is still a huge issue in other parts of the world, and it does still motivate people a great deal in Europe. But at the time we're talking, it is a huge motivator of what people do. It really informs their decisions, and it's intensely political. Religion is politics at this time. And so there is this very intense division between Germans in the north who are Protestant and Germans in the south who are Catholic. Really important point there. So there's these three big divisions. There's these three things which are dividing Germany, stopping it from being a united nation state, an independent political entity. Different states control its territories. Hundreds, literally hundreds of states are controlling it. There are religious divisions. The southern states were Catholic and the northern states were Protestant. And then there's the spread of the German people. Who should be in Germany? Which of the German-speaking people fit in Germany? Because you're going to have a huge problem if you're trying to get all the German-speaking peoples into one state, because they're across loads of different countries. What merits one group of German-speaking people to be in a future potential German nation state? So these are some of the first big issues which are causing problems for Germany at the time. Next time, we're going to delve into those issues, and we're going to think about what states exist as well at the time of 1789 and the early period of the unit that we're talking about. Thank you for listening.